Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. My name is Oluyemi Adeosun, and tonight we'll be looking at the topic cross-cultural HR and global work insights, working with Nigerians. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited, elated, delighted to have with us yet again my colleague, my sister, and my friend, Juliet Kekporo, who will be facilitating this session for us this evening. I would like to read very briefly a profile. Juliet is an award-winning human resource professional and career strategist whose work sits at the intersection of people, purpose, and performance. She's recognized for helping organizations and professionals unlock potential, build strong leadership capacity, and create cultures where excellence and growth thrive. Currently, she is the Group Head, Human Resources and Corporate Services at Human Investment Group Africa, where she leads transformative people initiatives that strengthen engagement, innovation, and organizational performance. Her experience spans consulting, healthcare, not-for-profit, beauty, manufacturing, education, and she has consistently delivered HR strategies that elevate both employee experience and business results. Juliet has been honored with numerous recognitions. Just to mention a few: Top 50 Emerging Visible Women in Africa, She Premium Awards 2025. Top 10 Exceptional Professionals of the Year in HR, TIBA Awards 2025. Top 100 HR Leaders in Africa, Seamless HR 2025. Top 100 HR Professionals Driving Excellence, HR Talent Hub 2024. She founded Jobshon Consulting to advance SDG 4 quality education and SDG 8 decent work and economic growth through employability programs, HR advisory, and workplace solutions that prepare individuals and organizations for the future of work. Ladies and gentlemen, she holds a BSc in Human Anatomy from the University of Port Harcourt and currently pursuing a Master's in International Human Resource Management at the Rome Business School, Nigeria. She's licensed by the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, and she's an associate. And also, ladies and gentlemen, she's a sought-after speaker, trainer, and mentor. Juliet is known for her dynamic facilitation style, which you will experience right away, authentic communication, practical, transformative insights, and so on and so forth. She mentors globally through the Global Mentorship Initiative, USA, and locally through Enterprise NGR, empowering individuals to build purpose and purposeful future-ready careers. Speaking to us tonight, this evening, on the topic, cross-cultural HR and global work insights, working with Nigeria. Please, let's warmly receive Juliet Kekporo. You have the floor, my sister.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for having me again. Good evening, everyone. Trust the weekend has been great. I know today's Sunday, and we're already anticipating our usual Monday frenzy. But thank you all for joining today. And of course, as Oluyemi already introduced our topic, cross-cultural HR and global work insights, working with Nigerians, the good, the bad, and the brilliant, right? I know that I'm sure all of us on this call, the majority of us on this call are Nigerians, so I'm probably going to be revealing a lot of things that you're going to be confirming because, of course, you're in Nigeria as well. And I'm looking forward to us having a great time together. And for agenda today, of course, I'm going to be introducing the topic, and then we'll talk about Nigerian talent in the global HR context, the good, talk about the good, talk about the brilliant, talk about the bad as well. And of course, we'll also explore misunderstood behaviors about Nigerians, what global HR must do differently, what Nigerian HR must do differently, and then case studies that we'll also look at. And of course, we'll conclude and we'll call it a great evening. So before, we even dive into, the main purpose of today. I want to understand the kind of audience that I currently have on the call or that will still join anyways. So I'm asking a question, which HR role best describes you today? A, Nigerian HR managing local teams. B, Nigerian HR managing global/remote teams. C, global HR managing Nigerian talent. D, global HR manager, global HR exploring African talent. So let me check the chat. Feel free to put your answer in the chat, A, B, C, D. Let me quickly check. Okay. Okay. Oh, I have a lot of A's. Mokoyemi says A. Folari A. Sheifumi A. Okay. Let's see. Anyone else care to drop their responses? What best describe you currently? I know that all of us have the vision to be global HRs, but let me know where you're currently at. I think I've gotten 4 responses that says A. So Nigerian HR managing local teams. Okay, hi Ify. Ify says A as well. Faye says A. Okay, I'm also A. Okay, no, I think I'm A and B because I do both. Okay. Anyone else care to share? So which role best describes you today? Are you currently managing just local teams? That would mean, all your employees are all Nigerians, or are you managing both? Are you managing global teams only? Are you a global HR manager and then you have Nigerians on your team? Or are you a global HR manager that you're exploring to be able to employ African talent? Okay. All right. Because of time, I'm just going to jump into the conversation. All right. So I guess our audience has more of Nigerian HR managers managing local teams. All right. So the truth is, for introductions, why we're here, why are we here this evening? It's because global work is increasing, right? And if global work is increasing, we're also having, issues with cultural misalignment and it's also costing performance. And then, of course, HR designs the system that make it work. So these are like, 3 core areas of why we're here today. And then as well, our focus today, we're going to be talking about insight and not stereotypes, context, not assumptions, and then practical HR actions that, we can take back to where we work. And of course, what you're going to leave with tonight, clearer understanding of Nigeria work culture, HR strategies that improve cross-cultural performance, confidence to hire and manage Nigerian talent globally. The truth is, a study done by Harvard Business Review, like I put on the screen, says 70% of global team failures are linked to cultural misalignment, not technical skills, right? So obviously, there's global team management, but the issues I've never been about skills or who knows how to do what, right? It's about culture, right? That is the systems that have been set in place and designed to help these people is why they're actually failing, right? And then, of course, HBR and Deloitte's what's it called, data as well confirms that organizations with strong DI and cultural intelligence are 30% more likely to outperform their peers. What does that mean? It's still referring to the systems that you design internally. That's really what, would determine how your team succeed in the long run, right? So now moving on, right, into the Nigerian talent in global HR context. Now, Nigeria has one of the largest working age populations in Africa, and digital talent growth is among the fastest globally. This is a research that was done by World Bank. The funny thing is, I didn't even know this before until I started preparing for this session. And I was doing a lot of research, and then I, came across this data, and I'm like, wow, when they say giants of Africa, it used to be like, one of those, but I think I'm more convinced, by the kind of results I got when I was doing the research on this topic. So we have the largest working age population in the whole of Africa. I think following us is Ethiopia, one other country like that. But like that's how much Nigeria puts into, we're not even just supplying our economy, we're practically supplying Africa and the world at large because digital talent growth is among the fastest globally. So our people are everywhere changing the world, right? So now Nigerian professionals dominate remote roles. Nigerian professionals dominate contracts and project-based works, and they're also in fast-paced, high-pressure systems and environments. And now Nigerians also have high business English proficiency that supports cross-border work. So obviously, right, that contributes to why it is easier to just decide that, okay, it's a Nigerian that they want to hire because language barrier will not really be a problem because we have, high business English professional, and what's it called, proficiency that supports cross-border work. Now that's for context. Then now, going on into the good, which is the strength that Nigerians bring to work. Nigerians bring resilience under pressure, right? Because we're used to navigating uncertainty and limited systems, right? I think I saw this picture online. You can see, how everybody is moving, right? You know how they say, like the Nigerian spirit is a spirit that, it can't be silenced. The Nigerian spirit is a spirit that is strong, right? So we are resilient under pressure, used to navigating uncertainty and limited systems. Our country is already even uncertain enough, right? And then we have problem-solving mindset as well, which is the figure it out mentality that we have. Give a Nigerian anything, right? And they are going to try, they're going to work it out. And then, of course, strong work ethics, right? Especially when is an opportunity for growth, Nigerians will put their best to ensure that they get what that opportunity, is supposed to give, right? These are like, strengths Nigerians bring to work. As well, Nigerians also have communication confidence. That is comfortable speaking up, negotiating, and presenting ideas, right? And Nigerians as well, we also have speed and adaptability, quick learners in dynamic environments. Put a Nigerian, somewhere and, give them time and they will catch up, right? They will catch up quickly. They will move quickly. They are agile, right? These are strengths that Nigerians bring to the workplace. And then, of course, the brilliance, where Nigerians truly excel. Innovation born from constraints. I don't even need to go too into this one because so sadly, right, we have a system that a lot of times is not really built, it's not built with a lot of people in mind. So Nigerians have had to find their way around problems, find their way around constraints, right? They have to what's it called? Solve problems, look for solutions, create things that, that's why I said innovation born from constraint. Okay, there's a limitation, but of course, remember I said Nigerians are resilient, so they don't see that limitation. They find their way out. They find their route. They find where they can go to, even if, this is where it's supposed to get to, right? They are innovative and it comes from, constraint and the willingness to not stay where they're at. And now leadership under ambiguity. Nigerians also excel in this particular area, right? It may look like there's no clarity, right? Even in conditions where there's no clarity on where they are headed, right? Nigerians can still excel. Nigerians can still excel. Leadership under ambiguity. If you even take the country itself, right, as an example of the leadership of the country, as an example, you would see that, it does not stop Nigerians to still continue to push and fight on a daily basis, right? Then, of course, Nigerians also excel in sales, great negotiators, and stakeholder management. These are also areas that Nigerians excel, the brilliance about Nigerians. And of course, crisis management as well. This is also an area where Nigerians truly excel in managing crisis, in mitigating crisis, in bringing up strategies, solutions, Nigerians are great with crisis management. Ownership mentality when trusted. When a Nigerian is trusted, right, they can run your business like it is their own. They would run your business like it is theirs. They will give you result like it is theirs. They will work and go over and beyond when they, when they are trusted to deliver their best work. And then now, I think I missed a clause. I said, give a Nigerian clarity, give a Nigerian trust, an opportunity, and then you watch them over deliver. These are very three key things for a Nigerian: clarity, trust, and opportunity, and you watch them over deliver. That's the most brilliant things about Nigerian talent. And then onto my next slide, talking about the bad, right? These are the honest challenges HR encounters. We're still going to, we're going to unveil more in this session because, of course, it's going to be interactive. So the bad, which is the honest challenges that HR encounters, right? So perception of time. So there's flexibility versus global rigidity, right? You know how they say, African man time, right? Nigerians, they would want to be flexible with their time. They may not show up on time, so in this case, it's always about flexibility and global rigidity, right? Because so if you're telling a Nigerian man, okay, show up somewhere at a particular time, or telling a Nigerian to show a particular time, they would prefer to be in charge of their time, right? And it's not it may not even be because they do not respect, your own timing, but like there's a way, I don't even know the right words to use to explain this, but I'm sure, a lot of us on the call, I think our population here is made up of Nigerians that manage local teams. I'm sure you can confirm to me that, you've had to struggle with timing in your workplace. Please, if you concur, just tell me you concur, drop an emoji so that I know that, we, know what I'm talking about, right? So we have that perception of time. It's almost like there's time. So you're expecting someone to be somewhere at a particular time, but then it's looking like, they don't understand why you want them to be there at that time. A Nigerian would want to be in charge of their time. They want flexibility. They would not want to be told when to show up or how to show up. They want, okay, this is like I need chance to breathe, kind of conversation. Let me see. Yeah, I got a comment. Okay, 100%. So you see, we shared thoughts, I'm sure all of us on the call shared that thought around, timing. Then second one is informality in professional settings, right? The truth is for challenges with Nigerians, right? Tone may feel casual to global teams. When a Nigerian speaks or communicates, it may just feel so simple, right? When it comes to, in a global team setting, right? It may feel kind of casual, right? Because we are free spirited. A Nigerian is free spirited. So he or she is going to be sharing ideas, as it's coming as they deem fit. And the tone sometimes in global standard may look like, what was this person saying? Right? And then resistance to feedback initially, right? Especially when feedback feels hierarchy or public. If you correct a Nigerian in public, you're going to get a response, I promise you, right? So one of the challenge too that HR encounters with Nigerian talent is resistance to feedback, right? And I'm sure on this call, we can also confirm that, especially when the feedback feels like, like, who's in charge here, who's in charge? Who am I supposed to be reporting to? Is this my, when it comes to this kind of conversations, the Nigerian would, stand and be like, okay, what are you saying? Why are you saying that? Right? If you give a Nigerian feedback, maybe in a town hall meeting or in a group meeting, and it's a feedback that, is that he or she is sure is not correct. Sorry, they're going to politely respond to you, right? So resistance to feedback is one challenge. And then documentation gaps. Nigerians, we like to talk, 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 talk. A lot of verbal conversations, verbal agreements, overwritten process. Even sometimes once you move the conversations from verbal to written, it's looking like everybody will start to drag their feet, right? So that is also a challenge, right? That HR encounters with Nigerians. Documentation gaps. You'd be like, oh, you said, I said, I think in the last period in the workplace, we've been hearing the thoughts around, oh, if it is not documented, it didn't happen. I think we've just been putting more conscious effort, right, to really be able to help with people, to document things, send emails, do report, follow the communication channel, just a lot of repeated processes like, okay, do this, right? But, this is also a challenge that HR face, communication gaps, documentation gaps, verbal agreements over written process. Then, of course, we also have the authority dynamics, which is also a challenge, right? When it comes with working with Nigerians, they have strong respect for titles. Nigerians have strong respect for titles, sometimes even limiting challenge culture, right? So a Nigerian employee will want to be clear on what their title is. They want to know exactly what the title sounds like, who they report to, who reports to them, right? Is actually very important to a Nigerian, right? So authority dynamics sometimes can also be a challenge, right? Probably in the setting where it looks like maybe one person is not okay with where they are or something, maybe competition in the workplace, but authority dynamics is something that, is also a challenge to HR professionals because Nigerians, they love respect, regardless of tribe, religion, whatever it is, right? Generally, as a nation, we do not joke with, self-esteem and respect, right? So, of course, these are cultural gaps, right? These may be the challenges that, some of the challenges that HR encounters with working with Nigerians in the workplace, but they are cultural gaps, really. They are not character flaws, right? Cultural gaps because, I already introduced at the beginning that, really it is systems. And from the research data that I presented, it's really systems that would help either support or fail if not properly done, put in place, right? So now, moving into the misunderstood behaviors about Nigerians, right? So now, thank you, Deborah. Deborah said absolutely. So I'm happy that people in this resonating with people on the call. So misunderstood behaviors. Now we have perception and then we have reality. The truth is Nigerians can come off as too assertive, but really it's just confidence shaped by survival and competition. I mean, I don't even need to say it too much, right? If you're a Nigerian on this call and you know that you have survived, please give me, what should you put on the corner? Type Nigeria or type N. Nigeria might be too long to type. The truth is, you will see a Nigerian, you meet a Nigerian, and you'll be like, so much audacity, but really, it's confidence that has been shaped by survival and competition. And then there's always the perception that Nigerians are always negotiating. They will not always move with the first offer. When those in recruitment, will probably resonate with this more. They're always negotiating, always negotiating, always negotiating. But in reality, they're just used to systems where flexibility, is necessary. And things are hard, right? So that's what's shaping the whole always negotiating. And then there's also the perception of questions authority. Or the Nigerians, question authority. Nigerians, you put a policy, they would. HR was on the call. Our work is a lot, right? You put a policy, and then there will be one person. There will be one person that would test your patience, right? So of course, perception will be, oh, Nigerians question authority. But in reality, really is that, they are used to being engaged and not insubordinate, right? Now, there's another one says late responses. That's, the perception of time I already mentioned before. But in reality, there's power, there's connectivity, and there's infrastructural realities, right? The Nigerians don't respond on time. They don't respond to their emails on time. They don't respond to their callbacks on time. They miss the call, they take their time, and they call you when they can, right? Or maybe they'll say sometimes, depending, where the person is at, it could be like, oh, it's after work hours, wait till next day or something, right? So late responses as well is also a perception, that we have about Nigerians. But really, in reality, there's power issues, there's connectivity, there's infrastructural realities as well, right? maybe you send somebody an email, maybe you're working with a remote team and you can't hear back from them. And you need to give them grace because it could be the national grid has fallen. Anyways, these are like, realities, right? So let me keep going. Then now, right, what will you change first as an HR leader, right? Hearing the things I've been listing about misunderstood behaviors, what the brilliant, what the good, what the bad is, right? As an HR leader, right, what will you change first? A, will it be your onboarding structure? B, will it be your communication guidelines? C, will it be your feedback framework? D, will it be your hiring strategy? So let me see. So just put this in the chat. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. What are you going to change first as an HR leader? Will it be your onboarding structure? Will it be your communication guidelines? Will it be your feedback framework? Remember, I said these people can be resistant to feedback. Will it be your hiring strategy? Right? So let me check the chat. So just put it in the chat, A, B, C, or D. What are you going to change first as an HR leader? Being that we've explored the brilliant about Nigerians, we've explored the good, we've also explored the bad. So far, what are you going to change first? What are you going to change first? Okay, let me check the charts. Okay, hi Atinuke. You said I should give more context to a question, but you didn't ask the question. I could take it at the end of the session. Or is it this question that I'm asking now? Please just confirm. Okay. All right. Sunday said C, feedback framework. Okay. So it means you would have noticed some kind of resistance within your team. Hi, Deborah. Deborah said C, and C is also feedback. Etini says A, onboarding structure. Okay. So you want to build culture from day one. Good luck says C, feedback framework. I seem to have a lot of response around feedback framework. So let me check again. Chika says B, communication guidelines. Okay. Who else? Anybody else care to share? What will you change first? Hi, Atinika, are you able to give, confirm what your question is? Are you saying I should explain this question or you have a question you want to ask after? So from the responses so far, we've had like a lot of C's feedback framework. So it means we're actually agreeing that that it can be, some form of resistance when it comes with giving feedback. So let's check. All right. So for majority of answer around feedback framework, right? Really, I think I'm sure all of us would have heard of the sandwich method, right? Although sometimes it can even be still hard to give feedback, but of course, which is why we're constantly learning to find better ways to what's it called, take care of our teams and businesses at large. So for feedback, really for whatever framework that you do decide to build, right? You could consider the sandwich method, right? And of course, you should also have an avenue where the person is able to also share their perspective, right? So there's not as if you're just giving feedback without hearing from. So Nigerians, that's another thing I didn't even add to my slide. So a Nigerian person wants to explain themselves. So when you raise, they want to tell you, okay, this is right. So in your feedback system, maybe you leave a gap where they are also expect to share what their thought is. And then when you give them when you give the feedback, whatever it is, you must use sandwich, just like how we have the sandwich bread, a slice on top, another bread, then of course the sandwich in the middle. That's how you're supposed to give feedback, right? So let's keep moving. Now, what global HR must do differently? So even if you don't currently work at the level of globally yet for HR, of course, when you do get there, this is what you would do, what you would need to do differently, right? And we have evidence-based HR actions, right, from SHRIM, I'm sure we all know SHRIM, and of course, Mambo HR as well, that clear role expectations improve delivery by 30%, right, for Nigerians, and structured onboarding improves retention by 50%. And now, what you would need, your playbook as a global HR manager, right, either you're currently managing Nigerians or you're looking to, you need to align on communication norms. For a Nigerian, you need to be clear on what your communication norms are, what your channels are, right? And then, of course, you have to define time and escalation rules. You have to say this is the time, and if what's it called? If we don't get back, or if you don't get back by this time, this is what it entails. So you have to define clearly the time and escalation rules as well. And of course, use private feedback channels. When you're working with Nigerians, use private feedback channels. Don't correct a Nigerian in public. You're going to receive something else in return. So you must, be able to utilize, private feedback channels. It could be one-on-one meetings, right? It could even be surveys. I know we already do a lot of these things. So measure output and not style. So for a Nigerian, measure what they are producing, right? Their result. Okay, you set what's it called, what their target is, what you're measuring, what kind of performance they are supposed to bring on board or something like that, right? So focus more on measuring their output and not the style of delivery, essentially. Then you have to be able to balance flexibility with accountability. Flexibility with accountability. If you want to get the best out of managing a Nigerian, you have to be able to balance flexibility with accountability, right? Because as much as they love to do things at their own pace, right, you also have to be able to put systems in place that help them to be able to report back, give you feedback, and be accountable on what they are working on. And then of course you have to encourage documentation. It's not something that you say one day and move on. It's something that can kind of be part of your maybe system or culture. Always encourage documentation so that things are documented, things are signed off, things are sent, emails, reports, not just phone interactions or a quick chat or something. You must be able to encourage that and put that in place if, you want to do things differently as a global HR. Now, for now, what's it called? I know that the majority of the people that are on this call has said that they currently manage HR in local teams, right? So only Nigerian talents. But this question is supposed to also speak to everybody, right? So if you share this experience, let me know, right? What's the biggest barrier for you when considering hiring globally? When you've tried to hire globally before, right? What was the concern? Is it time zone? Was it culture? Was it skills verification or cost, right? Personally, my own barriers that I've encountered is cost. So anybody else, have you ever tried to hire globally before? What were the biggest barriers that you have faced in trying to hire globally? Was it time zone? Was it culture? Or was it skills verification? So let me check the chat for responses. Okay. Okay. Oh, so I got a contribution from Coyote on feedback framework. Thank you, Coyote. And he says applicants and employees should be communicated on the current status of their request. No assumptions. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for adding that. Metini said now we're revisiting structured onboarding. Perfect. It's a great place to start. Isioma says D. Okay, I think, okay, yeah. Isioma says D, that's cost. Okay. And then another person says B as well. B is culture. Okay. So anybody else, what challenge have you faced? Have you ever tried to hire globally? Right? It doesn't even have to be maybe hiring in Nigeria, maybe just hiring globally. What kind of challenges have you faced before as an HR manager trying to get talent globally? Culture B. Okay. Topper said B. Thank you, Topper. So anybody else, right? What's the biggest barrier that you have faced when you're considering hiring globally? Was it time zones? Was it culture? Was it skills verification or cost? I think I've gotten cost as a response. I've gotten what else? I've gotten culture. So it's just cost and culture so far. So nobody has said time zone or skills verification issue. Costs, okay. Thank you, Etini. Cost, okay. Okay, culture is a strong barrier. It's the biggest. Okay, okay. All right. The D, cost. Good luck. Thank you. Anybody else care to share? Anybody else care to share? What's the biggest barrier that you've had so far? The responses are around cost and culture, cost and culture, cost and culture. Okay, another cost. Cost is winning. Okay, culture again. Omoba said it's a combination of everything, to be honest. Just the ratio might vary. Okay. It means global hiring has done something to you, Omoba. They've stressed you a bit. Oh my God. I know, right? Time zone, skills. I'm wondering why anybody has actually not picked time zone. I would have thought it would be like maybe one of the highest, but I guess, right? So culture seems to be leading and then cost as well. And now, when you pick culture, right, do you now see that it is basically them coming with how, okay, Mamba said everything has to be considered. Exactly, right? Exactly. But of course, we're saying the biggest. So you have to pick one, Mamba. What's the biggest one that's been troubling you, so far? Anyways, so the truth is, when we say, culture is the strongest barrier, right? That's because they are also coming with how they love to do things, Abby. And then we also have how we do things. So which is why in your what's it called in your hiring or your organization, I think somebody had mentioned onboarding structure as their response. I think we got quite a number of people that mentioned onboarding as what they're going to work on, right? I think somebody, I think he put it in the comments saying that, and what's it called? That's onboarding. They have to go back to structured onboarding, right? And then, okay, I've gotten a response from, okay, Mobile, you said cost and culture. Okay, all right. Then another response says work culture. I don't know who's using this me, but work culture in France and other parts of Europe is different from Africa's. Of course now, right? Of course, it's different. So the truth is this same barrier, right, that you are experiencing trying to get talent from other countries is the same barrier, right, that they are also experiencing in trying to hire Nigerians, which is why a session like this is good, so that they will understand that, see, we are gold, though, right? And they're also not seeming to understand how we do things, right? Culture is a challenge, it seems like the biggest barrier in hiring right now, because these people are coming with how they do things, how they communicate, right? I've had experience working with a team that we have employees in 25 countries, and I kid you not, there's a way you will say hello and it means something else. There's a way you would even tell someone, oh, how was your night or something, and it means something entirely different. And you'll just be there, shocked, frozen. You do not even know what is going on, right? That's something as simple as greeting, right? So, these people are coming with how they behave, how they communicate, how they do things, how they see things. And then, of course, we are also coming with how we see things, how we do things. So that's how it also, that's how we're also perceived globally, this whole culture. Of course, cost, that one, we all know that it's expensive to get talent from anywhere. You have to cover all the plenty things, of course. So culture is really, at the top tier, because that's where HR sits at. That's where HR sits. If you remember, at the beginning of the slide, I said why we're here. And one of the things I said is because HR is saddled with the responsibility of designing systems that will work. So, which is why, right, in any setting, at all in hiring globally, in building a global team, right? The key thing is what you have in place. So these people are coming with their own, culture, or, depending on, if it's somebody trying to hire a Nigerian, or a Nigerian trying to hire, another person from another country, right? What are you putting in place to ensure that regardless of how they behave, where they're coming from, they will be able to join this system and be able to join the system and also flourish, right? And not give the business problems, right? I think it's something that we're going to discuss, right, in the course of the conversation. So now this slide is for what Nigerian HR must do differently. So if you're an HR manager and you're currently managing, Nigerian teams, right? This is what you must do differently. The very first thing is to institutionalize documentation, right? I believe that, all of us agree with me that documentation is really one thing that we need to do better. Thank God, right, for HR right now. I feel like everybody's trying to create solutions for HR people. HRIS, ATS, tracking tool, analyzation tool. I think there was even one I saw which day. That one is supposed to help you check your employees' mood. Okay, we should keep creating all of them, right? So, there are a lot of, thank God for, things that are coming on board to really just help to make documentations a lot easier. But of course, right, it may not even be a solution that everybody is able to access because, depending on what your organization is, depending on the size, what if they cannot even afford an ATS? Do you mean that you just chill and not do anything? Or if they can't afford an HRIS, does it mean that you just, like, okay, whatever it is, right? You will still have to get your work done, right? So you have to, in some form of way, institutionalized documentation. People need to know, what they need to sign, your agreements, your contracts, your communication, anything, reports, work solutions, right? You have to be able to institutionalize it. There has to be a process in place, essentially, right? And remember that with Nigerians, as you're putting process in place, let them also be like, okay, this is what happens when this process doesn't work out, right? That's what they listen to. And then coach global professionalism standards. The truth is, I think there was a concept of culture that I read on, I've forgotten where I saw that article, but it was something about culture add, right? We do a lot of hiring, we say culture fit, culture fit, culture fit. But I read that article and it was talking about culture add. So now culture add is like, just like, how we've been saying that culture is a barrier, with hiring, right? It's almost like deliberate attempts to bring that culture that is not a fit, bring it in and find a way, which is, of course, building systems and putting things in place to ensure that this is supposed to, like, be able to work as well, right? So you have to be able to coach global professionalism standards, right? The truth is, obviously, you cannot get your team to be able to understand how every country is, but there are some global standards when it comes to professionalism that you can, and what's it called, implement and put into your team, workplace culture, right? That can make it, more accommodating when you are trying to, like, do global hiring, right? Do add-ons, right? Then, of course, build feedback resilience early. Build feedback resilience early. The truth is, I think we're already even, we in the slide where I asked the question about what are you going to change when we're talking about feedback, right? It's something that you will have to build. In fact, when you're building any policy, just expect resistance and put contingency plans in place, right? We're working with Nigerians. Then, of course, separate flexibility from lack of accountability. They are two different things. Yes, they want to be flexible. They want to, if you live, let alone for Nigeria, and they want to dictate how they want to show up to work. They want to tell you their own resumption time and when they will leave and when they will pick your call and when they will respond to your email, right? They want to, if you leave them alone, right? But of course, these are two different things. Accountability, flexibility, you have to separate them, right? And of course, by standard, every workplace has what works. Every workplace has policies, when they're supposed to resume to work, when they're supposed to go home, dress code. Great. Your employee handbook, I'm sure it has every area, right? So for working with Nigerians and trying to separate the two of them is to constantly, it's almost like a constant, it has to be maybe check-ins, right? It has to be a constant check to ensure that they know why this thing is in place. It's not because, anybody's trying to maybe control you or move you around or something, right? Is that this is for, what they understand is this is for the betterment of everybody. Uh-huh. So standardized onboarding process. Somebody even commented on onboarding when we're discussing what you're going to do first, right? So standardize your onboarding process from when, you should already be, you should already have a framework for your onboarding that, that starts from how it flows, from even when the role goes out, from when you start to receive applications, from when you start to, what's it called? You start to do interviews, you get somebody, they start, from the day one. You should even already start onboarding before they even show up in your workplace, right? Start preparing them. This is how, this is how this is what works here, right? So you should even start, before now, you wait, day one, they will come, you do. But now, right, you will even need to start onboarding before the person walks into your organization, right? So you should be building the process until they show up first day. And then, of course, whatever framework you're using, 30, 60, 90, whatever system or strategy you have in place, if you want to do body system, if you want to do, but you have to standardize your onboarding process, that it is followed through from start to finish. Because if onboarding is not even gotten right, that Nigerian talents will give you headache in that workplace. If it is not done right, if they don't understand, they don't know their reporting line, don't know who to go to. Remember, I said that they like hierarchy, they like title, they like respect. If it's not clear, problems have already started, right? So onboarding must be gotten right. Now, do you have a standardized onboarding process for cross-cultural hires, right? So in your onboarding frameworks that you're designing, right, do you have is it standardized to also be able to accommodate cross-cultural hires, right? Almost like, oh, maybe the business that you currently work for, maybe there's no plan, of any international anything. Maybe it's when the business moves to that level, that's when, maybe things will start to look like, okay, let's put them in mind or let's have a plan in place for that, right? But from where you are, for those that already have, experience or been able to work, with international people or cross-cultural teams, do you have a standardized onboarding process? So A is for yes, B is for no, C is for in progress. So please put in the chat and let me know where we're at. Do you have one in place right now? Even if it's not for cross-cultural teams, do you have a standardized onboarding process in place right now? Or do people just resume first day, you just give them laptop, give them they do the history of the company, carry them around, and do you have a checklist? Do you have, how do you ensure that, they are well engaged, they know who to go to, they know where do you take them through safety and all of those stuff, right? So do you currently have one? Let me see our responses. A means you have, B, no, C is in progress. So please feel free to put it in the chat. Do you have a standardized onboarding process right now? How do people join your company? How do they join your company? How do they join your company? Let me go into the chat. Okay, A, yes. Perfect. Okay, anybody else care to share? Do you have a standardized onboarding process for cross-cultural hires right now? Do you have one right now? This one I was not responding. Don't we have onboarding process in our organizations? So how are we, all these are January, all these people that have been doing happy to announce outside in Euro, how have we been putting them into organizations? Please, if you have, let me know. If you do not have, let me know as well. If it's in progress, please let me know. Because I know that a lot of hiring happened in January, and even this February, there will still be a lot of hiring. So do you have one in place? Do you have one in place? Please put it in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Physical, okay, virtual onboarding to physical onboarding. Okay, that's good. Deborah said we have. Fantastic. Shaifumi says no. Shaifumi, why? So how are you welcoming new people into your organization? How are they coming in? How do they know who to go to? How do they understand what your business is and what the solutions are? How do they know the role their role plays? Right? Okay, Sunday says I can't answer because I'm about starting a career in HR. Oh, okay, Sunday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't worry, HR is beautiful. All right. But of course, when you do start, you must have an onboarding process. All right. So anybody else? So do we have what's it called? So do we have people that are not actively practicing HR right now? Is that why I'm not getting the because I thought I would be seeing like everybody typing yes in chat. So do you have a standardized onboarding process? I think so far I've gotten yes and I've gotten no, right? So if you have one, fantastic. Thank you so much, right? So just continue to, of course, review, update, according to business needs and, what the market is saying, what the economy is saying. And then, of course, if you do not have one, please, you need a standardized onboarding system, right? A process in your organization. If you want to get the best, somebody, you people shouldn't make Sunday be afraid now. Somebody has said, he said, welcome Sunday. Trust me, you will see Shege. Hey, please, who's that? It's showing as me, so I'm unable to get the name. Oh God. Okay, Sunday, I think you're asking me a question. I can take it at the end of the session. All right. So let me keep going. So if you already have one in place, beautiful, just updates and, from the conversations we've had today, I'm sure you would have already identified areas where you need to make adjustments, right? And then, of course, if you do not have one, please build one. You need an onboarding process so that people do not join your company and they are lost. And then, when people are lost, they don't feel like they belong somewhere in your organization. You'll be anticipating exit anytime soon because they don't even think they're part of the bigger picture. So you must have an onboarding process. It's a must. If you want to work with Nigerians and you want to get the best out of Nigerians, you must have an onboarding process. Now, these are case studies that are documented. I also wanted us to discuss, right? As HR professionals. Now, the first case is remote Nigerian tech talent driving global impact, right? Anyways, it's no news that tech is everywhere you turn, tech, right? But the funny thing is, Nigerian tech talent is what is currently driving that global market, right? Andela Nigeria and Google Africa Developer Scholarship, that GADS, Angela's model placed over 1,000 Nigerian developers in remote roles with international companies. 1,000. See the way they're carrying our talent. Hey, how many will be left for us? Many graduates reported significant income growth and opportunities compared to local roles. Wow. And then, of course, Google Africa Developer Scholarship saw 41% of graduates employed within 9 months, right, of this program, and then boosting confidence and global placement success. And now, why does this matter for you as an HR person? Why do you need this data? It just confirms to you that, that Nigerian talents are globally ready. Nigerians developers in this case can be globally ready and integrate into international teams with measurable success. So this is just like, data to confirm to you that you can't play with Nigerian talent. So it goes back to whatever you're building in your workplace. It goes back to whatever you're putting in place because the competition now is not even among you and another HR person that is collecting your talents, right? It's not about one company poaching an employee to another company. The competition right now, where we are headed to the future of work, is looking like we may even start to have scarcity in Nigerian talent because internationally they excel. They are fantastic choices. And, you know, this is 1,000. This is just, this is just one cohort, right? And 1,000 taken and placed in this program. So they can be easily integrated into international teams, right? It may look like, Nigeria, we talk about culture, but is even a lot easier for us. That's why I say we have adaptability. The brilliant Nigerians are very, very adaptable, right? Those people, when we're trying to bring them here, that culture can be given, lots of wahala. But Nigeria, when we get anywhere, we just adjust. I think the word that's coming to my mind is chameleon, right? We just change to red, green, according to whatever you throw. A Nigerian person is ready. So that's why they, take these people. And then look at the second case, right? A European startup expands through Nigerian engineering, Amsterdam FinTech. Now, it brought 6 Nigerian engineers into a hybrid team. And then after 8 months, 73% cost reduction versus an all European hiring plan. So it is even cheaper for them. And then Mobile SDK completed 4 months ahead of schedule. 40 plus API integration with reliable uptime and performance metrics. Now, why does this matter for you? Hiring Nigerian talents produce faster delivery, lower cost, and higher impact execution, not just labor arbitrage. So you see what I'm saying, right? Where we are headed right now is not even, your worry should not even be that, oh, another company in Nigeria is coming to poach your great talent. That's not where we are. Where we are right now is the Nigerian, talent market is competing globally. Like the people that are coming for your, what's it called, Nigerian talents, they are paying in USD, right? And it's because they know imagine, this data, they were there for just 8 months, and in 8 months, they saved 73% cost reduction. In all their hiring plan, all the hiring they've done in that month, bringing these people on, it was cheaper. And they also achieved results. Imagine 40 plus API integrations with some uptime and performance metrics. So this just confirms to you that Nigerian talents are brilliant, right? Because faster delivery, lower cost, high impact execution for themselves, right? For them, and not just labor arbitrage, right? So these are like documented case studies I wanted to share just to give context on where the Nigerian talent is currently right now. Even you in this room, right? Sitting here as an HR person, right? I don't know, if you've been seeing the wave right now with recruitment. It looks like even internationally, they're looking for Nigerian talents in these roles, maybe talent sourcers, people partner, and they're looking for Nigeria. I think I've even seen some ads. They will be specific to even put the location that they want. They want somebody in this particular place to go and manage their people. So even you as an HR manager on this call, right? Even your competition is going up, right? So these are documented case studies to just further confirm to you how amazing a Nigerian talent can be. So if you're managing Nigerians right now, you have to manage them as if God placed them in your hands, because Nigerians are hot cake. And now, after this session, how likely, I knew we're already hiring Nigerians, but still give me an answer. After this session, how likely are you to hire or continue hiring Nigerian talents? For me, it's very likely, right? B, likely, C, unsure, D, unlikely. So let me see your responses. You see all this research data that I've given to you, right? How likely are you to hire? That's if, because if you've not, or continue hiring if you already do, Nigerian talent. A, very likely, B, likely, C, unsure, D, unlikely. Let me see. B, likely. Why not very likely? Okay, what happened to Nigerian talent? You say very like you. I thought you would say very likely. Any other person shares that thought. So you're not convinced that the HR and Nigerian talent is hot cake. They'll carry your employees, though. Angela will carry them. So A, very likely, B, likely, C, unsure, and D, unlikely. So please feel free to drop your answer. Let me know where you're at. Or you don't even want to hire Nigerian talent, say they should go in. You're Nigerian too, right? So after this session, how likely are you? Please put it in the chat. Okay, I think I have another response. Okay. Hey, hey, hot cake, especially Nigerian health professionals. Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I didn't even, touch healthcare. If I touch healthcare, I'm sure we already know. Our doctors, our nurses, oh God, the competition is not even among hospitals anymore, right? It is among Nigeria versus another country. So Sheifumi said, A, very likely. Thank you, Sheyi. All right. So keep dropping your responses. Keep dropping your responses. We're already approaching the end of my session. So of course, if you have any questions, feel free to start dropping them in the chat. Or if you want to speak to your question, you could use the raise your hand feature. So really, Nigerian professionals are skilled, adaptable, and globally competitive. We already even established that on this call. And their context just shapes strength, right? Complexity for them builds resilience. Constraint sharpens problem solving. Change develops adaptability, right? There's no place you put a Nigerian talent that they will not thrive, honestly. We have that, like there's this doggedness, like, we are built to last. I think that's the word that keeps coming to my mind. Nigerian talent is built to last. So hire Nigerians. Hire Nigerians. I know that this session will be recorded and anybody that gets to watch it, please, I'm speaking to you. Hire Nigerians. Nigerians produce results. They are skilled, they're adaptable, and they're globally competitive talent. And of course, when HR leaves understanding, right? All the things we mentioned as challenges will improve. They will be solved, right? As an HR person, engagement will be improved, retention improves, and of course, results generally will improve. So, thank you for staying with me today to discuss this topic. And I believe, and I'm hoping that you're leaving this session with, with more context into managing a Nigerian talent. So please, if there are any questions or any contribution, I'll be open to taking them now. I think I already got a question before now. Okay, Sunday, although your question is not related to this, but I can answer it. Maybe just context. So Sunday, let me read. Okay, you've been applying for internship and HR assistant, but haven't been fortunate. You need my advice. Hey. Okay. Um, what can I say? Okay. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it. If you also want to contribute, your thoughts, please feel free. We're all here to learn. So really, Sunday, did I don't even know if I should call it the job market, right? And if you've been applying and you haven't been fortunate, I think my advice would be keep applying, right? You would definitely get something soon. But of course, as you're applying, ensure that you're applying correctly. You have a CV that is properly written, and you're applying to jobs that are actually, that are actually within internship and HR assistant. That you're not applying to jobs that are, of course, the ones that the requirements is what you have and matches your current, what you have, your skills, right? So really, that's the advice that I have, right? And of course, be visible as well, right? Connect with people, ask questions, or you can even pitch yourself to HR people, right? So that's really the easiest way, and I'm sure you will get something soon. Okay, so Kayode, your question is why HR roles being filled by legal practitioners? This is not even connected to our topic. Okay, why HR roles being filled by legal practitioners? Why not HR professionals? Really, I feel like this really would be, a what's it called? If it looks like, I think I've seen this question before in a session that I also took. I don't know why it keeps coming up, right? Kayode, have you asked this question before? Just confirm. I feel like I've seen this question before, right? So The truth is, you say, why are HROs being filled by legal practitioners? It's the employer's preference, right? Because you've asked it before, great. It's the employer's preference, right? And then it will also be something that should signal you as an HR professional to maybe upskill, right? Because the perk that a legal practitioner will have over an HR professional is that, of course, they have legal background. They know the law, they studied it, and then they now learned HRO, added it to their law, and then, of course, right? So it will mean that you as an HR professional, go and carry your labor law and know it like the back of your palm, right? So, so most times it's down to preference. Maybe the organization, they need someone that has that dual, is it, would I call it dual skill or dual competence in this case? So if they need that, that's their preference, right? But if you because the context of this question is almost as if does it look like a competition right now or something? Is it making you not have enough roles to apply to, right, Coyote? Right. I believe that there are a lot of roles that you can apply to that are not necessarily requesting for legal practitioners. So you focus on that, right? And of course, the advantage that legal practitioners have over HR professionals is that they have a legal background, like a core legal background. So it just means that you cannot play with your labor law. So that's basically it. There's really no okay. So, okay, someone contributed. I don't know if it's a question. Late Prof. Dora Akunyili's daughter was recently made chief medical doctor of Jersey City. Wow, in the US, very soon, most of my doctors will be trying the hey, hey, hey. Right now in Nigeria, we just rotate talent because most good talent has jackpot. That's a very, I don't even know if it's a sad reality, right? It's true. I share that thought as well, right? The thing is they know, like the thing is, I think the which is what I really, want this session to be able to leave in our minds is that people value the Nigerian talent. So it would be a lot of disservice if we Nigerian HR managers, Nigerian people managers, do not value the Nigerian talent because see the way they are coming for them. The competition right now is not, you should not even, don't be scared that another company, yours, what you should be looking at is another country taking, and it is, with all of those, and the funny thing is, some of these international companies are willing to give Nigerians flexibility. They will give them remote work, they'll give them all this one. So when you come with your offer, they're looking at you like, what are you trying to say? Like you're just speaking English, right? That is not really resonating with them because these people are willing to, move things around for them, right? So really this contribution says right now, we're just rotating talents. And that's because good talent has jackpot. I still believe that we still have good talent, Sha. We still have good talent, right? But let's really understand the importance and let's build systems, that are designed to help the Nigerian talent flourish in our workplaces, right? So, okay, another question from Atinuke, right? So please, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it. So if you also want to speak, you want to contribute, please feel free as well. Just use the raise your hand feature and I'll call on you. Atinuke says, thank you for the session, you're welcome. But how can I be likely to hire when we are not competitive in terms of remuneration? This one safe. This one is another, another problem that we have, right? With the competition, say, I'm not even sure our remuneration can even be placed on a global scale, right? So how likely can I hire, right? How can I be likely to hire when we are not competitive in terms of remuneration? So I think it goes back, right? I really believe that, this whole remuneration problems, right? I think it's a fight that we will have to start from inside to outside, right? Start from inside to outside would be that, you know, in filling roles, I also know that, companies too can also impact this, you may even present like, okay, this is what the market says for this role. This is why you need to do this, this is and they will still say that this is what I can afford, or this is what I can pay. So I think we just need to design, like I said the fight is something that we have to fight from inside out, right? We can't excuse low remuneration. If we really want remuneration to be different, right, across, the hiring market, it really has to start from inside and outside, right? So it's to start from what are you contributing in terms of what you do when you want to fill a role? How are you presenting this? How are you, telling them that, okay, if you do this, if you pay this, if you pay this, sorry, I think I got a response. Okay, I'm going to read that as well. So if you what's it called, go with your budget and they say, oh, do it, this is what I think, or do it like this or something, right? You should be backed, with your data and information to say, oh, this, if you pay this price, this person is going to walk out, right? Work out from this organization in the next how many months? Because it is below, even if they come on board and then maybe they accept maybe because of a condition or where they are or something, right? For it's not helping your attrition rate at all because they're going to be satisfied. They're not going to, and the funny thing is, even in the hiring market right now, right? Job seekers are not playing. You will send somebody offer, they will reject it in your face. So it even makes your work harder when you do not fight for what is supposed to be paid, right? And then I think I got a comment now from Zingulok. He said, to me, this one is the most challenge for HRs because most times the management will tell you they can't go below a certain cost. Good. Now, if they can't go below a certain cost, maybe you find them a talent that matches what their budget is, right? Because you cannot be looking for, what will I use? Which example will I use now? You're looking for somebody seasoned, and then you're not even willing to pay the actual price of being seasoned. You are paying spices price. It won't work. And that role will take longer to fill. So maybe when they come at us with this budget and say, oh, this is what we can pay, you give them the feedback as well as per your own data and what will happen in the long run, right? And then another beautiful thing is when you get these people, so one thing that has helped me personally when I'm having conversations around maybe something that that is best practice, and then the management keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. What I will usually do, I will say you will sign off on this, that when the problems will start, you're not going to come and say, why are people leaving this organization? And you're going to blame human resources that, oh, maybe we're not doing employee engagement enough, we're not doing enough, right? You will sign off on that choice so that when it happens, I have my record. And once that conversation gets to, oh, you have to sign off that, we get a talent at this, they will not be like, oh, why am I signing off? All of a sudden, that resistance will not come up. And then that now gives, it's helped me, right, to get, bargains and like, okay, if you're not willing to sign off, it means that you're also anticipating that, this process may fail. So why don't we do things the right way, right? So we I think we need to what's it called? We need to, I think I already said we need to fight from inside to outside. But sometimes, right, some people are not even resistant, right? I've also seen situations where a role, so that which is why I said this fight is not even one direction fight, right? I've seen situations where a role clearly says the budget is maybe 500K to 600K, right? And then you bring somebody on board, and maybe because the person said, oh, the expectation is maybe 300, you now go and pay them 300, knowing that that budget was 500K, right? Good. Now, imagine that next time you want to hire a talent, they're not going to approve that budget for you again because you have shown them that you can bring talent at a cheaper cost. So that too is also a problem. So this whole remuneration problem, if we really start to talk about remuneration, I don't think we even live here today because there are a lot of issues from both sides, right? A lot of issues. Of course, there's the one, the management courses, and then there's the one that we as HR professionals too have to be able to manage, right? So I think I have some comments. So total employee cost TEC with the new tax law is killing companies. I agree with you. But the truth is, right, these are, what's it called? um because with the new tax law, really, with all the relief and everything, net is going up. And so really, of course, we cannot take out that fact, right, that in this new, whole, what's it called, is made things easier, for employees to have more to take home. But on the other side as well, right, is also killing companies, right? But mind you, remuneration problems has been around for a while. It did not just start this January, because new tax law started in 2026, right? I'm sure it's now that they are seeing the payroll, and they will be doing, I'm sure, a lot of strategy meeting board next week in every organization. I mean, this new week we're entering, because, they have to check what's going on, right? So but remuneration issues have existed long before now, sir. So they cannot even blame it on this tax being an issue why they will not want to approve the right budget for roles. And then Atinuke, it says, honestly, I feel it's a lost battle when a local company before it's lost, right? When a local company competes with a global company for talent, because an average talent will often prefer sorry, often prefer, sorry. Okay, will often prefer a global opportunity even when the pay is the same. Of course, now, because those people, like, the funny thing is, I think they even understand Nigerians than us Nigerians. So they know what to get these people. They know what to get these people. They know how to, and one thing they always offer is flexibility. And Nigerians love flexibility, right? So, of course, they would prefer, the Nigerian talent would, because these people are promising you more, and they're letting you, do your stuff, at your time, you know, and all of this stuff. Really, the reason why Nigerians are flocking international market right now is flexibility. They want to work remote, they want to work from anywhere in the world. And with all the plenty motivational speaking that's even going on, you have to work a job that will help you live your life everywhere, everything, has come together to help support that motion, right? So really, it is really not something you even put. We cannot compete. Right now, where we are, we can't compete. Maybe, things will get better and we can compete globally, but right now we can't compete. But what we can do right now is just, ensure that at least the Nigerian talents that are in your course study right now, that are well taken care of. At least that's what you can control, right? Then, I think I got another comment. If the employee presents tax relief, with the relief, the tax will reduce compare. Of course, yes. I think we've already spoken about tax. Then when you say law, he's trying to cut costs. Of course, people are trying to cut costs. Then, okay, okay. So good luck. You also said, okay, the most challenging. Okay, I think I already spoken to that, right? So really, the most challenging thing is, management. Good, but you as an HR professional, you also, at least play your part. Do your part. Let them not just, okay, this is what we can do, and then you do not push, right? Do your part, push, give recommendations, right? Let it be that, you have fought the good fight of faith. If at all you want to now say, okay, let me go and try, right? But I would believe that, with some of the budget, right? Your budget can also fit another, I think maybe the issue is not, so yes, there's budgets, because of course they want someone that this is, maybe if you also approach it from the angle of, okay, this budget, this is what it will suit. Maybe this budget, someone of 2 years experience, this is it or something. So maybe you look for somebody in that category instead. You can offer that, as what's it called? As an alternative. Of course, sometimes these days, it's not even by years of experience. So I really come across people that even have less years of experience, and they are so good. They're exceptionally good at what they do. So these days, it's not even about years of experience, not about, 7+ years, 15, 10 years experience. These days, people are very intentional about, building their careers, and they really equip themselves inside out, right? So you might also want to consider that as well. So please, if you have any other, thank you, Atinuke. Yes, so let's focus our energy on retention. Oh, treat your employees well. Oh, hey, Jesus. The ones that you currently have, please treat them well. Recruitment is not easy. It's not easy at all. Thank you all for the interactions tonight. So, is there any other question before we call it a night? Tomorrow is Monday, and for some people, their Monday starts from Sunday night, so that you can go, or for some, is to just rest and then, of course, start Monday proper. So, any other question or any contribution, I'll be willing to take them. Just one more. So while we wait for anyone that will come up, right? Thank you all for joining the session and staying up to now. Again, my name is Juliet Keporo. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm active to an extent. All right. And also these are my contact numbers in case, if there are any insights, any research data you need, anything from this session, feel free to reach out as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Oluyemi, for having me again for, I don't know if this is the fifth time now or fourth time, but anyways, I'm excited to be here. All right, so it's more of achievement, not years of experience. Okay. All right, you're welcome, Opeyemi. Thank you, Atinuke. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so I guess we don't have any additional questions. I think I just saw a comment from, who's this? Okay. Okay. You're responding to Sunday. It's more of achievement, not years of experience. Really, right? Really. It's really not about how lengthy you've worked these days. It's about, competence, right? So thank you everyone again, and have a great evening, everyone. Have a great evening. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Okay, we need to stop. So has the recording stopped? I'm not
No, it
sure.
hasn't. I was going to message you that the recording is still on.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me stop it.
Yeah.